guys! Welcome back to another album review. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Demon Hunter's self-titled debut album. And this is the third Demon Hunter album I'm going to be reviewing, and I'm going to be doing their whole entire discography. And I kind of didn't really do it in order, but next will be Summer of Darkness, but for today, we're going to talk about their self-titled album. I've honestly listened to this album in total probably about 8 times. The biggest crime it has is being too short. Like, why is it so short? It's only 9 full-length tracks. I mean, there's 10 tracks on here, but one of them is just a little interlude, and it's like, seriously? Like, it kind of kills me how short this album is. I mean, I know that it's about 39 minutes long, so it's a normal length for an album, but there should have been way more tracks on here. That's my biggest complaint that I'm just going to get out of the way at the beginning of the review, because I have a lot of praise for this record. What I find interesting about this record is it's a bit different from other Demon Hunter releases because the guitars are tuned down to drop C instead of drop B. I'm pretty sure on all their albums they tune to drop B, except for this album, because they tuned to drop C on their debut album. And drop C is, for all the people who don't really like play guitar, you know, like, it's basically a higher tuning than drop B, and people they typically associate really low tunings with like heaviness, heavy metal, you know, the lower the tuning the more aggressive, but it's kind of contradictory on this album because this album is, has the guitars tuned higher, yet it's heavier than most of their releases. In fact, it might actually be their heaviest release. The biggest highlight on this album is the guitar riffs, honestly, and I love the lyrics on a lot of these songs. But we're gonna go track by track like usual. First, we're gonna start out with Screams of the Undead, and this is the opening track. For a little while, I thought it was a bit lackluster to be an opening track. I thought it was pretty good. I've always liked it quite a bit, but I always thought it was a little bit forgettable to be an opening track, you know? But as I've listened to it more and more, it's grown on me, especially that pre-chorus. It's repetitive in a really good way, and I think that the verse is really nice. It's really classic Demon Hunter. It really represents them well. So the lyrics in this song kind of talk about, you know, just pain and sorrow, you know, but the lyrics kind of approach it in a fresh way, to where it's not some whiny rock song, you know, it's kind of a more, you know, compelling metal track. And I love the guitar riff and the bridge so much. So track 2 is I Have Seen Where It Grows. And this is a good one. I don't think it's as good as Screams of the Undead, but it still holds its own. It doesn't have quite as much melody, but I really like the kind of main guitar riff because it reminds me of something Slipknot would do in their earliest albums. I like the lyrics in this track quite a bit, especially the line, "Life is a path, death a destination." And this is repeated several times in the pre-chorus, I think. And it really gets in your head and it makes you kind of think a little bit about what they're really trying to say here. Track 3 is Infected. I love Infected a lot. It's one of my favorites. And I heard this song ages ago. I was 12. I was going on one of my older brother's MTV Headbanger or whatever compilation, and it was in here, this song Infected. And I was like, oh, they made that song collapsing! Oh, this should be good too, and I listened to it as a kid who had never listened to metal in my life, and then I heard this song and I was like, what is this? I don't even think I made it to the chorus, didn't even get that far. And so when I came back to listen to this album and I heard this track, I was like, I know this! The chorus is so melodic. I mean, for a heavier track, I guess, I'd call it kind of like a moderately heavy. The melody is so infectious, it just, no pun intended. The backup vocals are so good in the verse, and I like the bridge. I mean, Ryan's basically repeating over and over, I can't do this alone, I can't do this alone. So this is one of my favorites, definitely a standout. Track 4. Now, I know that I've been praising every single track, but I cannot express how I even feel about this track. My throat is an open grave. This is one of my favorite songs. This is my favorite Demon Hunter song. as of right now. Right now, I'd say it is my favorite, even above Deteriorate, even above, you know, The Tide Began to Rise. This song, My Throat is an Open Grave, has grown on me very slowly, but very much so. I love the atmosphere, I love the kind of echoey production. It's amazing. It has kind of darker lyrics, but they're a bit hopeful at the same time. They're a little bit hard for me to understand, to be honest. The chorus is so good. You know, there are some songs out there that just really catches your attention, and this is one of those tracks. And this ballad is laced with strings toward the end of the track. You know, something that I found kind of interesting is toward the end of the song, you know, the kind of like plucking at the end? It's violin. It's either violin or cello. It might be cello. It sounds a little bit too low to be violin. Anyway, that's called pizzicato. Coming from someone who plays violin. It's called pizzicato when you basically pluck the violin strings and you don't play with the bow, you just pluck it, you know? They end the song with that, with the little pizzicato thing, and I did not expect that. Like, I've literally never heard that in rock or metal music, except for this song. Track 5 is Through the Black. It's honestly such a good song. Like, it's really earwormy. Like, it's very infectious, very, very catchy for such a heavy song. This song has some of their best lyrics, I would say. Yeah, I absolutely love the lyric. I was never the type to turn my back and run. It never appealed to me to be the same as everyone. That's just golden. The chorus is so good. I love the clean vocals on the word I when it's like, I. That's so catchy, and it's mixed with like clean and unclean. It's just so good. Track 6 is Turn Your Back and Run. I found the title of this song interesting considering in the last track there was a lyric that almost had this title in there. But yeah, this song is really cool. The verse is so quick, it's like hard to keep up with. Like, I remember the first time I had listened to this album and I was like, I had 2 tabs on my phone. I was listening to the album on one tab and then I was looking up the lyrics on another tab, and then my phone couldn't even like load the lyrics tab enough. It couldn't even load fast enough because Ryan just starts screaming so fast and I'm like, come on, load, I'm like missing the whole verse. I love the pre-chorus. I'm pretty sure it's sang by Don Clark, and I think he played bass at the time. I'm not completely sure though. And he's Ryan Clark's brother. He was in the band, but he left. I really like how the chorus is. It kind of reminds me of Slipknot, just the kind of, like, anthem, you know, quality it has. When it's all, switch, you gotta turn your back and run, like that kind of reminds me of something Slipknot would do on their very first album. We also have to mention the bridge of Turn Your Back and Run. This bridge is so weird. Like, it honestly takes you down a different path. I would have never expected it to be like this. I was almost like, whoa, am I even listening to the same song? Because it got all spooky and just kind of weird and atmospheric, and then there's choir vocals in the back. It's just kind of gets crazy in this bridge, and that kind of like surprised me a little bit. And then toward the end, it has that kind of choir vocals again, and then it kind of ends with this guitar thing, and it's like, kind of weird. It's almost like the song has 2 personalities. Track 7 is And the Sky Went Red. And this song, this is just an interlude. Honestly disappointed me so much because I had already seen that this album had 10 tracks on it and I was like, okay, I guess it's a little shorter. Oh well, you know? And then I listened to this and I'm like, seriously, this is just an interlude. I wanted it to be a full-length track. I don't want this album have so few full-length songs on it. It bugs me so much. Like, if there's a deluxe edition out there with like bonus tracks, please let me know because I need more tracks off this album, I swear. Okay, anyway, enough of me like getting all crazy and freaking out. This interlude is kind of weird. It basically, like, it has these sounds that they kind of sound like horses galloping. It's only like 30 seconds long, and there's really not much to say about it. Track 8 is As We Wept, and this is pretty cool of a song. The title, again, makes it sound like a ballad. Whenever you have that word wept in there, you kind of think of like, you know, crying, sadness, sad song, but no, they don't really think of it like that apparently because they had Jesus Wept, which was super brutally heavy, and then they have this As We Wept, and this is all so brutally heavy. This song has kind of Christian ideas in the lyrics. You know, it says, I will stand and fight to justify you, you have bled and died to justify me. And I really like the way Ryan pronounces justify. I don't know if that's just me being weird or whatever, or like listening too hard, but I really like the way he pronounces it with the unclean vocals. Yeah, it's a really cool, heavy track. I mean, I don't have quite as much to say about it as some of the others, but it is pretty good. It's enjoyable. So, track 9 is A Broken Upper Hand. And this is a pretty good song also. It opens up with some drumming, and the lyrics are kind of like, you know, about wanting to separate from, you know, hate and shame and getting away from that. You know what's kind of weird about this song though? There's something that is just not satisfying about it. Like, the melody line is kind of different than what I would have thought. Like, the chord progression could have been a little bit better. I feel like they stay on one chord for like way too long, and it's like, okay, we know you're playing that guitar chord, play something else. No, it's not that big of a deal, really. It's just a little bit of a nitpicky thing I had with this song. But I do like it. The melody on the line and everything you've given just kills me. For some reason, I thought it would have been constructed differently. Like, I expected Ryan to sing higher up, and like, he just kind of stayed on the same note, and I'm like, oh, okay. Alright then, it's like you anticipate after listening to so much music, you kind of think, okay, they're gonna play like this chord next, you know, like, at least for me, like, especially in pop music, I'm like, yeah, I know, they're gonna go to the G, and then they're gonna go to the F, and then they're gonna do A minor, you know, but with this song, it's like, oh, okay, I guess they're not gonna do that, oh well. So I guess I can give it points for it being kind of unpredictable. It has really great guitar work. Honestly, I love the bridge in this track. There's so much energy in it. Track 10 is The Gauntlet, and this song is so long. Like, holy crap, it's long. Like, I knew just like listening to it, I was like, okay, this song is going on for quite a while, you know? But I looked it up, and apparently it's their longest song to date, unless there's some weird bonus track I didn't know existed that's longer than this, but it clocks in at 7 minutes long, and it's crazy. Like, this song honestly doesn't have that many lyrics, and the lyrics that are in the song are a little bit hard for me to decipher. Like, I can't really understand, like, what it means. The atmosphere of doom in this track kind of, like, closes the album out in a kind of dark way. Honestly, the outro on this track is very long and gradually kind of closes out the album. I think it's a good closing track to close it out. Like, it honestly does have that sense of just, like, closure, you know, just, like, ending it all, ending a masterpiece. This is a really good ballad. The chorus is so good. It's so nice, and it's so tame, and I like this track quite a bit. Overall, this album, their self-titled album, is so good. It's one of their best releases. So far, I'd say it's my second favorite Demon Hunter album behind the Triptych. And it's probably their heaviest. It has quite a few standout tracks, and honestly, like, it kind of blows my mind that, like, this is their first album. Like, I know they haven't quite found their sound yet. I don't think they really did find their sound until, you know, Summer of Darkness, the Triptych, especially the Triptych. That's really when they found themselves. I would give Demon Hunter's self-titled debut album a strong 9 out of 10. So that was the review. Leave suggestions in the comments for more albums you want me to review, because I'm open to suggestions. And it was really fun talking about this album. I really do enjoy it. You should check it out if you haven't heard it. It's really great. Just some of their best lyrics in their career, I'd say. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.